Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NFC South Takeover. How's it going today, gentlemen and lady?
What up?
What up?
What up?
Going good.
Yeah, it's been a bit. It's been a bit since we all got together, so it's nice to see all you
while.
It's been a while. Hold my head up high. Wow. It's crazy to think that we're getting close to the end of it, eh? Jeez. Yeah, it's something else. And the division still is very much open. Very much open.
We're coming.
Your team.
Yeah. Second team.
Yeah, it's something else. It's something else. But everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, especially during the holiday season. Let's go over what happened this Sunday and Monday. No, I think it's all Sunday games, right? Nicole, you first. What team did you play? What went down, bud?
I guess there's this place called Atlanta.
Wow, where's this place?
Division. But it was in our home, okay, our dome. We played the Atlanta Falcons, and we beat you 18-21. Too close of a game that I would have liked, preferably. However, there's been news. Taysom Hill, what a star. I do have to give it to him. Out of the game, he's the only player in NFL history to have scored 10 touchdowns as a passer, receiver, and runner, including the playoffs. So no one else has ever done that since the league merger in 1966.
Nice.
Critical fumble came in the fourth with two minutes left in the game. There was a 4th and 5-yard attempt where Ritter throws to London and London loses it. Justin Evan popped it out and Bradley Ruby took it away. So
yeah, kind of touch on that too. Yeah, it was an unfortunate Sunday for sure. There was a lot of good things that I saw out of it. I'm gonna be honest with you, from comparable, I guess, weeks. There was things that I liked. I was hoping that Ritter was going to have something more of like the Tom Brady effect, where he was just going to come in and just be that star, but he very much looked like a rookie. But that's okay. That's fine, because there are some pluses to this game. I saw Ritter throw the ball, and he threw the ball a lot more than what Mariota threw. So I will say that's a little bit of a plus. Is he the guy? It's a little bit too early to be determined, but at the very same time, I do think that Arthur Smith now is looking a little bit like he's less on the hot seat. And, at least we can see what the quarterback is going to do, and if we are going to go with a quarterback in the next draft or not. So I am happy about that. But no, you guys were the better team. And, Drake London, man. Like, the guy, I love him. Don't get me wrong. I love him. But there's been 2 games now where he's given up a crucial ball. And, again, I'm not. It's a rookie. It's his first year, sure, but you can't be doing that, man. Like, not in games that close. So kudos to you. The Saints were the better team this week, and you guys keep fighting along.
I'll see you next year.
Yeah, honestly.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess let's move on from that, because I don't need to hear any more of that. But let's talk about the Buccaneers. I need to feel a little bit better.
Oh, we're good. It's been a great one, everybody. It's been a great one. I'm gonna just drop that.
Right.
What do you want to hear, buddy?
I just want to hear how you're. Give me the analysis of what went down on the Sunday when you guys had a very, very favorable lead. And hey, if I'm mistake me, Tom Brady doesn't give up leads like that, correct? No, doesn't happen often.
Tom Brady doesn't do this. Tom Brady doesn't do this at all. You know who does do this, though, respectively, all the time throughout history? It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, okay.
This is like, what did I say like last week or the week before? This is looking like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of old, where we have a lot of talent. We just don't know what the lip to do with it. And I'm not happy that we actually came out the gun looking good. But then I don't know if it is Tom Brady at this point. I don't know if it's a stale offense. I don't know if it's I just don't know if it's the drive to want to win anymore. But these guys seem content of and I mean this in all respect to the people we're talking about in the division here. The Panthers fans got a Washington Commanders thing on it.
He's lost. Don't worry about him.
It's like they're being given this division, whether we get 6 wins, 7 wins, 8 wins, or 9 wins.
Yeah.
This division's ours, and they are they're playing like it, and I don't like it. And there needs to be change. I know that we're not going to change from Todd Bowles. That's for a fact, because everybody just loves his play calling. And,
yeah.
Byron Leftwich is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Oops, I got a question for you, actually. With that being said, just kind of seeing how the team's going, and now we can kind of say that, even if the Bucks do win the division, which is still a possibility for anybody here, really, right? But there's a good chance that, you guys probably would get, or all of us, I'm not even just speaking about the Buccaneers, we're all probably going to get knocked out the first round of the playoffs. Pretty likely. Yeah. I'm just going to be honest here. With how much, I guess, how do I word this? Aged talent that you brought into the Buccaneers. Do you think potentially, especially with where you guys are right now, and you do have some young linesmen, that it is potentially a good retooling season next season, and you just kind of trade for what you can and get some younger and more favorable talent, especially for the O-line?
So you're not wrong, because yes. Now on the flip side of it too, I said this when Tom Brady came in, and I still hold true to it. I just think there's a bit of a hangover, and I'm not talking Super Bowl, and I'm not talking anything like that. I think there's just a hangover of having a certain mentality maybe in the building that's kind of controlling things. And again, don't know if that's Brady, don't know if that's Bowles, and don't know if that's Byron. But it could be a retooling season if, for some odd reason, someone like Aaron Rodgers was available. Because the team is built for quarterbacks like that. And then I only say that because we've proven it. Tom Brady came in 1 year during COVID, a lot of restrictions. The guy had to get fined for, practicing with his guys in a park. And trying to figure out a brand new play system that the guy has never ran before. And he literally came out right out of the gun and he won a Super Bowl. Yeah. And we've been trying to replicate that ever since.
Doesn't happen often.
And I don't think it's going to happen with Brady. I think if we get to the playoffs this year, we could have a run like Washington gave us in the Super Bowl year, where it was a team that was under 500 and they came out of nowhere and everyone's like, oh shit, what's going on? Yeah. So it would be retooling if it was Aaron Rodgers or maybe even like a Lamar Jackson. If we were to get a quarterback of those type of calibers, I could see it being a retooling. If it's not any of those whatsoever, and we have to either go with Trask or a quarterback in the draft, then we might as well start trading assets and give Chris Godwin a brand new home and get a couple of first rounders for him.
No, fair. But on the plus side, I guess Mr. Spencer, the dual, I guess, franchise fan. How's it going, man?
Let's go.
Beautiful.
Let's go. We're gonna take command of the South. All right.
I think
bring it all together.
The Panthers are gonna win it. I actually low key do think that right now.
Well, we're gonna see. Unfortunately, we were unsuccessful playing against the Steelers. Shout out to them, Sidney Swinton.
They wiped their whole division, eh? They wiped their whole division.
No.
Hey, they're doing whatever they can do. They got it done. And look, I got to be quite honest with you. This game came down to we couldn't stop the run. Najee Harris was gashing us left and right. Warren, their backup, number 30, was killing us in the run game and out of the backfield receiving. I mean, we just couldn't stop it, man. We were kind of getting towards Trubisky, but they were just running on us left and right. Sam Darnold didn't look bad, had over 220 yards, I mean, looked a lot better than I thought he was going to look, and then coming off you got the win from a week ago. So, hey, shout out to what they're trying to do. But at the end of the day, we can't have everything fall on the shoulders of our defense and Sam Darnold. Our running game was absent 100%. Yeah. Like we didn't even have 30 yards on the ground this game. Mm-hmm. Like everybody knows us for being a rushing team when Chris McCaffrey's here. And then now we got Chuba and Donta Foreman. I mean, come on. How many times we talked about that earlier in the year and we didn't even get 25 yards on the ground.
That's crazy.
Between three people. That's unacceptable. Wow. So it's one thing to be like, we're a playoff team, but no team can be a playoff team only running for like under 30 yards. So it's ridiculous. Hey, right now, the way we are, thankfully, Atlanta lost and Tampa Bay lost, so we're somewhat still in the hunt. But the Saints moved up, so everything we're technically kind of in the driver's seat because we got to play the Saints and we got to play the Buccaneers.
Yeah,
and we play the Lions, so we can easily knock them out and then potentially win the 2 divisional games. We could do it, but we got to do better than that. I'll tell you that much.
I feel that, man. And you know what? Honestly, funny enough, and Foobs, you can attest to this. Everybody in multiple podcasts, I said, do not sleep on the Lions because they might squeak a wild card spot. I said it multiple times, and that might come true. And actually, I believe, if I said correctly, even I said they were going to clinch the last wild card spot too. I'm pretty sure that's what I said, and that very likely might come true. So.
Which is funny too, because I also called the Vikings getting into the playoffs, and I got absolutely laughed at at the beginning of the season for that. And I was like, "Come on, but Detroit." I wasn't hopping on that train just for Alex. I'm like, "Listen, I'll let Alex enjoy this a little bit first."
He denied it.
Yeah. I didn't see it, but Foobs, dude, nobody, and I mean nobody, in August and July was talking anything about the Giants except for you.
Yeah,
you said they were going to be competitive, and as somebody that's just lost and tied to them, you know what I mean? It's oh my god!
Honestly, like their roster, they were built the same as Cleveland's, in my opinion. Like when it came to that defense, too, the offensive line was not Swiss cheese, but just good enough kind of thing, where they had the guys in place. And I just honestly, it's nice when you can bet on these things and be right.
You called it
now, and you can start picking these out, right? But I was so wrong. Let's be completely so wrong about the Eagles. I was one of the only people.
I didn't see that.
I was one of the only people who was not on the Eagles bandwagon.
Yeah,
with the Eagles, I'm telling you right now, I still think it's history is proven. I still think they fall off in the playoffs. I don't know, man. I had that feeling has not left me. I don't know who's going to do it necessarily, but I think they lose in the playoffs, man. I'm telling you. It's just they're going to underestimate a team, and they're going to fall off, and it's going to be like, why did I not bet money on this game?
I don't know. I think they could take it.
I think they could, but history, man. The Steelers had a similar season, and that's my issue. Is the Steelers went, I think, 11-0.
Yeah, and who'd they lose to?
Washington.
Let's go, baby. Take command.
Listen, this doesn't happen often. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, it's not like I'll use the NHL for an example in this scenario. The Colorado Avalanche last season dominated the whole season and won the playoffs. Yep. Do you know how unsaid that is? That does not happen often in sports. Like, that doesn't happen often in NFL. That doesn't happen often in NHL. It's very seldom that those teams go and just win it all out. Usually it's pretty close, but the Eagles, I don't know. Unless history just, breaks, I'm not sold. I don't know who's going to win it. I said the Bills from the beginning of the season, so I'm not going to change my mind on that. But
I'm supposed to be going for Cowboys.
No, we don't do that.
Yes.
We don't do that here. No.
I said to my dad,
No.
maybe 49ers or Cowboys, and my brother's like, there's only one answer.
No, gentlemen, this is way different than we thought. We all thought the same thing until she said brother, and then we were like, oh, okay.
Right.
It's not
Ash.
It's not who we thought.
Okay.
Danae and Ash bring her onto a StreamYard to do a show, and he's like, hey, when are we going live? We're not. We're here to talk about the Dallas fucking Cowboys. Fudging Cowboys.
Hey.
My apologies.
The Niners, though, honestly, this is my thing with the Niners. I think the Niners might go to the Super Bowl, but hear me out. The one thing that Kyle Shanahan does not know how to do is finish. He doesn't know how to finish. He plays a good edging game. He edges, absolutely. The guy can't finish, though. He can't do it.
He tries to extend it too much, and I 1,000% agree. He's like, I need to make sure the enemy is dead, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, they need to go down by my count. It's like, no, let the game do it. That's how everybody does it. Don't change the formula.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I guess back on track. Studs and duds. So let's talk about that. So there was very little in the Falcons that I would like. to say that was good, but I'm going to give it the studs to the Atlanta Falcons defense. I think they tried to keep us in the game. I think the Saints are a better offensive team as of right now than us. So the fact that we only held them to what? Was it 21, Nicole? Yeah, 21-18?
Yeah.
The fact that it was only 21-18 is not too bad, all things considered aside, especially because it's a divisional game. But again, it could be better. I think Drake London did, as much as he had that crucial loss, he did well. He had a lot of receptions, and you can see that chemistry building with Desmond Ridder and Drake London. So I do like that. Duds, honestly, this is a tough one. I think the whole team as a collective could have played a lot better. I think for Rashaan Evans, that's something that stands out. He had a real stupid penalty, I remember, in the game. That definitely kind of changed the momentum. I don't want to say Desmond Ridder because it is his rookie, first game. What's that called? Sophomore game? Would that be considered? What is that? Freshman game?
Freshman.
Freshman game? Yeah. That's his freshman game. It's against a divisional rival, which we don't usually do good against. So, throw him to the fire if you want, right? But there's not much else you can really do there. But honestly, the duds is just the team in total. They weren't working collectively. There was a lot of misfire. And, I'm not giving an excuse to why we lost this game, but D&P is also being out for the game due to a collision, I guess, in the warm-up or whatever, where he got sent to the hospital. That's not something you necessarily want to see before the game. So, that easily could have changed the momentum, but regardless, an L is an L. So, yeah, we just need to be a lot better. But, Nicole, who's your stats? Who's your duds?
Oh boy. Well, I got a stud for you. You may not see him in the light, not like a quarterback, and not like a wide receivers getting all that limelight. But I'd like to bring the light to this special team. And on that is JT Gray. He's number 48, defensive back. The reasons why I covered him is because there was a really great play where Blake Gillikin ended up punting it, and he was able to run all the way and stop it at the 1st yard line. I think that's a really great determination and drive.
It's always good to do that.
Yeah. And so he's agreed to the terms with the New Orleans Saints for a 2-year contract extension in March 2021. Yes. So we'll see where that takes him. What can I say? He was awesome. I like to watch him go. My dud, it was really hard to pick, but I was like, who's ever covering Algier? But I realized he's a running back. So then I was like, okay, let's take it back here. And I looked at the coaching staff again. And there's the co-defensive coordinator for, I think it's more so it broke down in the secondary. So with Chris Richard there, I think we should have been getting, he was getting through way more than I think he should have, especially covering up those holes, as I know what kind of defensive team we have and had in the past. Yeah. So in this development, in this week 15, we shouldn't be doing that, especially if we're going to be going up against the Eagles in 2 weeks.
So, that's scary.
Yeah.
Hopefully you give them an L.
Yeah. Let me call him.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Actually, you know what? You mentioned something too about the punters. Mr. Foobs, do you remember the punter that we took from you? What's his name again?
Bradley Pinion.
I will say right now, Bradley Pinion is probably my favorite signing. He's good. He's a good punter, man.
He's good. We just didn't want to pay him $4 million anymore, so we had to release him.
We can keep him forever. I love that guy. He is great, man.
Lifetime contract.
Oh, absolutely. Honestly, he is so good at what he does, man. More often than not, everybody has a flop kick, but man, Bradley Pinion, buddy. He nails into that 10-yard line more than I want to think about.
You wait till he has the game where you're just like, what the heck is this?
Every punter has the game, though, in all fairness.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
But it's when they have it.
Yeah.
Don't you play Tampa at the end of the year? It's all of a sudden. All of a sudden.
Punch the ball.
You know what? Here's the thing. I'll say this right now before we move on. Even if we don't win the division, if we win the last game and stop Tampa from winning the division, I think that's equally fine to me. Honestly, at that point, I'm like, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay,
But
well,
Wait.
Wait in the South.
Do all divisions play against each other in their last week?
what is it?
Well,
Panthers and Saints?
Not
last week?
always.
our division, so like all the teams within their division will play each other in the last 2 weeks, I believe it is, but
Does
the
that
last
always
week
happen?
for sure. They just did this, I think, a couple of years ago to
Yeah.
allow
What?
like more competitive games and,
Yeah.
and stuff
'Cause
like
we're
that.
all playing against each other last week.
Last year,
Wow,
Yeah.
I never knew that.
last year, Washington's last 5 games were Philly, Dallas, Giants.
That's disgusting.
That was
Wow.
the last 5 games. All
That's
for
All
the
disgusting.
very
division.
important games too.
Right.
I wanted to state, speaking of extension, congratulations to the 2 Oiler peeps in the group for Stuart Skinner's extension.
Great contract.
Gotta
Great
love
contract.
that. Guys all happy to be in Edmonton buying a house and stuff. Gotta love that.
Yeah.
My stud is actually one of the teams in here, and it's for a very completely different reason. The stud is the Saints. The Saints.
Mhm.
Good job on the win, because now the more wins that you get, not only the better chance that lights the fire under our butts for the Bucks to start winning more games, because we'll lose to the Falcons and we'll lose to the Panthers, but by gosh, when the Saints come to town, it's like all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
So props to you, and you're my stud of the week for winning, because the further that draft pick falls for the Eagles, the less commotion we
Please.
can have
Yes.
in
Yes.
the draft.
Please. Yeah.
Please.
The more money we can make. The further away from that top 10 spot the Eagles draft, the better it is for me. So I give you props for that. And literally, that is the only reason, because I couldn't find a single stud on anybody's team this week, because let's just face it, we all kind of suck right now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Pretty much.
Speaking of my dud, it goes to a Canadian. Chuba.
Oh.
They literally traded the roadblock for your starting position out of town.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they do that, they give it to the guy they signed for a 1-year contract
From the Falcons.
from the Falcons. Practice squad.
Yep.
What's going on, eh?
Eh?
What's going on, eh? I honestly, I got you in Dynasty. I got you Jersey. I got your. I respect the crap out of you because you're Canadian in the NFL, and I always will. But man, come on,
But
what is going on?
take that as you will, though. I will give coaching the fact of that one. You know what I mean? They're not the Panthers aren't all put together right now. They're very much in a rebuild, and they're not trying to hide that in the closet.
They're in a rebuilding with a chance of playoffs, though.
I know.
And
I
they're
know.
and he's Canadian. That's what I'm saying. Why are you just giving in, man? Don't just give in. Take that lead back position. Because watch, Carolina will be drafting at number 8, and they're going to go for another running back again, and it'll be Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
Which I'm good with. I'm good with it.
I
You
will
get running,
take that.
don't you?
And that's something because a lot of people we got to remember we do have a young quarterback that on our bench in Matt Corral. Yep. Matt Corral, before he got hurt in college, was on he was on the Heisman train. Everybody was talking about him, and then the injury stopped him from playing. So we still have to see what we have in that.
Where's Matt Corral from? Sorry.
He's from Ole Miss. He's from Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Oh yeah.
Ole Miss.
Yeah.
He was a first-round talent, and then the injury dropped him to the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Was he before or after Sam Howell?
He was before, because Sam got in the 5th.
Okay.
Where's Sam Howell from?
See, and I always thought Sam Howell.
Carolina, let's go.
I kept thinking Sam was taken in the 5th round.
Well, you know what? I mean, look, if he would have got picked up even the year before, he potentially goes top 10 because he had that talent. But the thing is, he also had NFL type talent with him. Michael Carter, Javonte Williams,
That's all you need right there when
Well,
you got
right,
those
yeah,
two
no
running
kidding.
backs, right? Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
'Cause
So,
Javonte in college was so much fun to watch.
right.
Oh my
Right.
goodness.
And both of those guys were 1,000-yard rushers. You know what I mean? Now the receivers, Daz Newsome and De'Ami Brown, haven't really taken off yet, but those runners are, I mean, they were legit, and he had all of those guys in his playing on his offense. So, hey, we'll see, man. We'll see what he does, man. We'll see what he does.
Now-
But look, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was going to say, I just wanted to take a quick moment to appreciate what I saw in that Commanders game on Sunday night by a guy named Jahan Dotson.
Yeah,
My
buddy. Let's go. Let's go.
What
You
a
guys-
steal!
Yes.
That's a dual-headed threat. That's literally Chris Godwin 2.0 that you have right there.
No,
You got
let's
Terry
take a
Harris.
step
What's
back.
his name again?
Jahan
Jahan
Dotson.
Dotson.
Not only that, let's go a step further.
Jahan.
He is the new and improved Deebo Samuel.
Ooh.
That's where he's at.
Because
That's where he's at.
Curtis Samuel. Yeah.
Curtis is the one that does more of the running. But Jahan is like, I watched a couple of those plays, and I'm like, he's a little bit more stout. And he does look miniature at times, like I've seen a couple of these guys say. But it's the fact that he literally is like a snake. That if a defender sees the ball coming up this way and he's defending him here, all of a sudden, De'Ami Brown, he's beside you.
Yeah.
Like, it makes absolutely no sense what I saw out of this kid last night or on Sunday night. I was like, oh my goodness gracious. I just wanted to give you a quick shout for the Commanders.
I appreciate that.
Like,
I appreciate that.
That was a pick, buddy. Like, good job.
It was a great play, man, and shout out to him, man, because he definitely has raised up there. I know Samuel is our number 2 technically, but Samuel's kind of better in the slot. Jahan just catches everything, man, and that was the scouting report on him coming out of college. He just catches anything in his radius. Such a huge catch radius, and he's got speed. And I mean, you talk about last game. We go back to the game 2 weeks ago because the Giants. He catches a pass over the middle. And this defender has him straight in his sights, like was ready to blow him up. And Jahan hit that circle button and just whoop and spun around him and scored. And we're just like,
man.
wait, what? It's like that. So okay.
Just
Also, shout out to Alex, because when we did our off season, we were going over all the college players and stuff. That was like his number 1 favorite wide receiver. He's like, if he goes to Detroit, I'm not mad. He's like, if Detroit spends a first round pick on him, not mad.
Yeah. Absolutely. And after the trade with you guys, they gave you guys Olave. We've been moved back, right? So then we've been moved back and ended up picking up Jahan. And I'm not gonna lie, Will and I will say it, we weren't thrilled about it. We're like, dude, this guy's tiny. Like, what? Who is this guy? Da, da, da. But they kept saying his hands, and it's shown. Look,
would you have taken Olave over Dotson?
I wouldn't be upset with either. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't be upset.
He would have been more happy at the draft, probably.
Definitely. Now, mind you, at the draft at that particular time, I was eating a whole all-you-can-eat crawfish special, so I was happy as is. I was just happy we didn't get a crappy quarterback. So my stud, real quick, my stud is I'm gonna give an honorable mention to my quarterback, Sam Darnold. I was watching back in that game. He actually did not look bad. Nope. And maybe I have this expectation of him always kind of messing up. But the beginning of last year, they went 3-0 earlier in the season because Sam Darnold was running and throwing the ball. Like, he was doing great. So he can do it, and he kept them in that game. But he still only had 225 yards. He still was 14 of 23. So he wasn't anything that jumped off the page, but it was just better than I thought. But my stud was Jeremy Chin, 14 total tackles, 11 solo tackles with a touchdown. He was the only one who seemed to be able to, him and Brian Burns are the only two they seemed to be able to tackle Najee Harris. I mean, he was definitely getting Najee and bringing him down. But my dud is the Carolina running backs. We talked about Chuba. We talked about, what's his name? The backup Foreman. Thank you. Yeah. And then Darnold, 2 carries, 2 yards. We had 16 carries between them for 21 yards.
It's disgusting.
The 4 of us can do better than that. Okay, this is ridiculous. Like, you can't, right? You know what I
Don't
mean?
let me in.
Right.
I'll get
A
crippled,
couple
man.
plays,
I'm down, though. I'll do it.
You can go to Oregon. Your eligibility will still stand out there. So I mean, honestly, yeah, those are my duds, man. You cannot win football games if you don't have a running game. The Steelers were running all over us, and that is the only thing that we were not able to do. So yeah, those are my duds on that one.
Well, that's fair. No, that's fair. You know, it's funny, actually. I'll just move into the next segment. My Be Humble actually is Sam Darnold. You know,
Yeah.
with how the game went and stuff, you know, with the numbers he put up, right? He still ended up getting a touchdown, 225 yards, 14 out of 23, you know, for completion. That's not bad. That's honestly pretty good considering some of the games that we've had this season in the NFC South. So, you know, definitely shout out to him for sure. I think, you know, especially with him being injured for as long as he was and stuff, and, you know, the whole confusion with that, what's his name, that XFL QB, what's it, JT Walker?
No, PJ.
PJ Walker, that's it.
Yeah.
PJ Walker, and then, you know, with all the whole Baker Mayfield, like, issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For Sam Darnold to still come back and still put up numbers like that, you know, kudos to him, man. That says a lot.
Definitely.
Like, you know, maybe you guys do ride with him for a little bit. I doubt it, but you know, you never know. He could at least be a very, very valuable backup at the very least. So yeah, that's why Be Humble by any means. He definitely stood out that game. So
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But what about you? Who's your Be Humble, Sean?
Me? No, my Be Humble is, I believe, yes. I'm going right back to you, man. I'm going right to you. Tyler Algier out of BYU. You talked about him before. You talked about him too, Nicole. I mean, hey, the guy had almost 140 yards. He had a touchdown. He was doing what our running backs weren't able to do, and that was moving the ball. And I don't know, I always, from outside looking in, always look at Cordero Patterson. That's your guy. That's your guy. But I'm really happy to see Tyler Algier taking that next step and being a force in the running game. Because if you get those two guys going, that's the pattern. That's what everybody's doing in the league now, is the two-headed monster in the backfield. So if you start getting two viable guys in the backfield that you can run, one guy gets a breather, bring the other guy in, man, that's killer. And so I love seeing Tyler Algier get this kind of performance, and in a game that they needed to have. So
yeah, he's good, man. He's unbelievable, honestly. Like I think he's going to be around for a bit.
Gosh darn. Yes. That's my Be Humble, man.
I love it. That's fine. No,
just to carry on.
Are we all Tyler Algier?
No way.
Let's go. Let's go.
Go ahead.
He runs an official 4.6 seconds, 40-yard dash in 2022. I believe he also was selected in the 5th round of the 2022 NFL draft with the 151st overall pick by the Atlanta Falcons, and he made his NFL debut in Week 2 against the Rams.
Yeah, he's good, man.
Mark was like, whoever that number 25 is, so annoying.
Yeah. He's good. He's good. He's going to be around for a bit.
Honestly, though, but it becomes almost troublesome for other running backs in the league. Say like Bijan Robinson coming out of college and Jahmyr Gibbs. Let me get his name right. Devin Ackney from out of the Texas A&M there. These guys, Breece Hall last year, we saw the same thing. Falls to the 2nd round. Why? A lot cheaper for these teams. Exactly. And some of these guys don't even get drafted until the 4th round, because you find Damon Pierce is in the 4th round. You find the guy from San Francisco. Give me a second there. He just got injured. But he was
Kyle.
No. I cannot remember his name. He's the backup essentially for McCaffrey now. But he was a 6th round pick, and he was their lead back for a little bit there. So now it becomes almost troublesome for running backs and for, say, dynasty or fantasy football purposes, because now a lot of these teams are running, say, the dual threats, but it becomes these rookies are taking the advantage off of the veteran. So like a Javonte over a Melvin Gordon. So
Davis Price.
No, the 6th rounder, the other one there.
Mason?
Jordan
Mason?
Nope. Give me 1 second.
Oh.
I'm gonna find it here
Yeah.
because I have him on Dynasty. Give me 1 second.
I do feel like our division this
Is it
year
Mitchell?
is a rookies
They-
highlight.
Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, or whatever his first name was. Is it Elijah?
Yeah, Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, he was like a 6th or almost 7th round pick, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden they start utilizing him, and it was like, where the hell did that come from?
But you know, but here's the thing: is regardless of that, right? Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that because there is value in the later rounds that does get overlooked. But you also can't ignore like the talent, like your first round, like Najee Harris, right? Like you can't ignore stuff like that. So
Yes.
don't get blindsided by that. You're not a deer in the headlights. Like Bijan Robinson is right there. Any team that gets him, like that's scary.
It becomes scary
Very true.
for those teams too because they're like, well, Zeke at 4, Saquon at 2, Najee I think was 16 or 20.
He was
Yeah,
in the
right.
first
60.
round.
I think he was 16 and then 17 with ETN that year.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Those are
That's
the
right.
only
That's right.
two in the
That's
first
right.
round. I
And
think.
Etienne still had like he's not having a terrible year for his first
Well,
year.
And the reason they wanted ATN is because like the Jags were like, okay, we all of a sudden were gifted the next Peyton Manning is what he was called. I
Mhm.
called him that too. And they were like, we can't just put him in this system without anything
Somebody,
whatsoever. We need to go and trade up and get his guy, like his running back. And now if you look at their roster for next year,
It's
and,
sad.
and they got the running back, fine. Like they got Travis Etienne and stuff like that. They got Calvin Ridley that they just traded
Oh.
from the Falcons,
Yeah.
who's back
Nah.
on suspension. So now they have another number 1. They got Zay Jones, who literally just cost me a lot of money in
Balling out.
fantasy football. Oh my goodness gracious!
Yep.
Only because he was on my bench. And then they still got Christian Kirk. They still have like an
And that
Jamal
DB.
Agnew.
Who's the first overall drafted? He went to the Jags.
The
the
linebacker
Bulldogs.
there, the Tavon.
Quay Walker. No.
Yeah.
Quay
No.
went to the Packers.
Trayvon Walker.
Trayvon Walker. Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, he's a oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
man,
Him and
he's
Josh
unreal.
Allen are having so much fun on the Jags right now.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And that scares that just side on the Jags. That scares me more than anything because if anyone remembers when the Jags were good and they had Blake Bortles for that one
I
year,
remember that when they went for a run in the playoffs.
that
The defense was nasty.
that defense was gross and it's
Yeah.
starting to look younger than
Yeah.
and better than what it was. And I'm like, I don't. And then the fact that they got a stud quarterback on the other side, I'm like, I don't
Watch
know.
out.
I
Right.
don't think I'd ever thought I'd live the day to see the Jaguars and the Lions be the competitive ones in the league. You know what I mean? And
It's
you start
nice.
getting
I
Super
love
Bowls
that. I
like
love
that.
Come on now.
I
Talk about
agree.
Ratings.
I agree, though. I agree. Like, I'm not saying I don't want to see Dallas anymore or the Patriots anymore or the 49ers or the Steelers or anything like that. I'm all for the Chiefs now having their dynasty run. I'm all for the Bills having their dynasty run. I'm all for the Chargers because they say got
Yeah.
a quarterback. I'm here for the Dolphins. These
Mhm.
old school franchises back in the day who even the Commanders.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
The
not going to lie.
Redskins. Sorry,
You-
the Redskins.
Or
Right.
yeah.
Right.
You put CJ Bryce or Will Levis on the Commanders after this draft, and I'm gonna start having to take a way deeper look in the Commanders because you will give them a half decent offensive line,
Yeah.
you give them half decent tight ends, you give them a dude who literally was shot to try to be slowed down and is only getting faster in the running backs, and he's got
Yeah.
2 of them, Antonio
true.
Gibson as
Very
well.
true. Yeah.
And then I think McKissick or whatever. There's another like pass catching back there as well.
Yeah, McKissick.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like pass catchers, like
Yeah.
Samuel, Jahan Dotson, and
Ayapawa.
Scary Terry. You
Yeah.
put Will Levis in that system, I'll buy a damn Commanders jersey. You know what I'm
Just
saying? Like
hitting
that's
everybody.
really.
Yes. Now we have to get rid of our owner. We have to get rid of our owner because outside of that, everything is just going to be awful.
I'm just waiting for the Amazon
please.
logo.
I was thinking Hasbro.
Whoa, Hasbro.
Come on now. They got money. Come
We
on.
got money.
Just
Hot
get
Wheels.
us out from under Dan Snyder. That's all I
agree.
care about. That's
Yeah.
just it. That's it.
That's true. That's true. But I guess with that, the Panthers, they could win the division, right?
Very true.
They could.
Very true.
I think they do,
Yeah.
man. Honestly, I think they do. I think the
know.
Panthers are somehow going to pull it off. I think they're going to go the whole way, and we're going to be like sitting here scratching our heads, being like, "Why?"
I'm pretty sure You said that.
I was wrong, I think. I'm going to tell you right now. I will go on record.
Yes.
I know what I said. I
What's
want
mine?
the Falcons to win. I do. I really do. But the Panthers are doing some weird voodoo, like extra mana, legendary Magic the Gathering type stuff. And
Mythic legendary, yes.
yeah, I'm done. Like he's
Black Lotus.
are the like
Yes.
there's no mythic legendary on that team,
No.
but like they're all rare. You know what I mean? It's a rare deck.
Yes.
No, they've been through stuff, man. It's just like, look, I mean, think about the last 2 years. You get Sam Darnold, you sit here and he gets hurt. You get PJ Walker in there, he gets hurt. You bring back Cam Newton for a game or two, he doesn't play. Then you're kind of playing musical chairs with those guys. You lose your coach. This offseason, you bring in Baker Mayfield, he gets hurt. You draft a quarterback, he gets hurt. It's just like all this stuff. Then you trade away your best receiver, Robbie Anderson, one of the best running backs, if healthy, in the league, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
You're just sitting here like, what else? And I think Steve Wilkes, shout out to him, interim coach, I think he's just kind of got him pulled together. Now, I'm going to say it doesn't hurt that the rest of you guys are helping us out a whole lot. It's like everybody's sitting there like, no, we're not going to leave you behind. We'll lose so you can come up. Don't worry. We love you guys. Like,
We love you. We want to include you.
Right? It's the most close-knit division, man. We just love each other.
Yeah.
But look, we got to play Detroit next at home. Then we go to Tampa and we go to the Saints. We're in the driver's seat. The road is right in front of us. If we win these last three, we will, major implications. Potentially knock the Lions out, the Bucks. Then you got the Saints. So we got the major division wins that we need to get. It could happen. It could definitely happen, but we're going to need more. We're going to need our running game, obviously. DJ Moore is going to need to continue to have just to ball out and continue. He had 5 catches, 73 and a touchdown, but he's going to continue to keep his helmet on and keep playing hard through this year. Our special teams, Nicole, you talked about it. Eddie Pinheiro, 3 field goals in the game and an extra point. Take it from me in Washington, where no extra point is given. You got to make sure that your kicker can make these kicks. And at the end of the day, that defense has got to play. They got to play tough. They have to play together. We know the pieces they have. Jeremy Chen, Shaq Thomas, Frankie Luvo, Ryan Burns. You know what I mean? These guys can play, but when you're always having to deal with whatever happens on offense and the short fields and playing most times down, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. So it like we said, whoever, with the exception of maybe Tampa Bay, with the rest of us, if we make it to the playoffs, it's a one and done. Like I just don't see, any of us outside of potentially Tom Brady and Tampa Bay finding it and clicking it. But right now, somehow we're making it happen. We'll see what happens, but we definitely want the South. We definitely want it, if not just for this year, and then we're gonna give it back because
whoever wins it, it's tough because it's just a little bit distasteful no matter what. Like it's like
I that's why I don't want to win it personally. Right. I'm like, I'm good. And honestly, I wanted to say this about the Panthers too, because this is the whole, can the Panthers pull it off? If they can't pull it off necessarily this year, could the Panthers pull off being one of like the underdogs in, say, the quarterback market? Mm-hmm. Because if you really think about it, if the division is this bad, right, Tom Brady's going to be out. Tom Brady's leaving the Bucs. I can almost guarantee that.
I'm going to give that a 90% chance of happening. Like
I think you could put good money on it to say that he's gone, but not retiring. Yeah. I think he wants to go play one more year, and I think he's looking at like Miami or San Francisco as like a one and done. Like, let me just win this one ring and get the hell out of here again. But the Panthers have been in the conversation for quarterbacks. They were in the talks with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
They were one of the teams rumored about Lamar Jackson. And anytime you go and look at these mock drafts and stuff like that, they're not necessarily mock draft to grab like a quarterback right off the bat because they'll have like the 7th or 8th pick.
Yeah.
It almost seems to make sense to approach Green Bay with that 8th overall pick and be like, do you want to be close enough where you could get your quarterback? We would like yours for 2 years. That would be great. We'll take the money and everything that comes with it, since you do have a bit of a greedy owner who would be like, yes.
Yeah.
Is that what's getting
of a greedy?
Yeah. What else does he need? Does he need a receiver? What else? Does he want Devontae Adams? Like, who does he want? We'll go get him a Stephon Diggs. You find me one team that's tired of their star, and I'm buying them right now.
Bring him over. Right.
So if they can't pull it off this year, they are in such a good position next year, not only with the draft picks, but the superstar talent that they have. And I do mean, say, like, DJ Moore is a superstar. Their left tackle that they drafted last year, I can never remember his name, but he is also basically a superstar as well. I know, it's one of the three. It was is it Iquanu?
Yeah, Ike Mekwonu.
Thank you. It is Iquanu.
Yeah.
So Iquanu is there. And it makes sense because with the defense, name me a part of the defense that's bad.
Right.
Almost every single player on that defense is almost, and I mean this in respect, look at the Saints defense of 2 years ago when Drew Brees was still there. And how every single player had a role and a substitute role.
Right.
When the Panthers play good, that defense holds each other accountable, where Brett Burns, he's an edge rusher, but man, does he ever look like Luke Kuechly on a couple of those plays.
Yeah.
Like that, those cornerbacks start looking like Isaiah Simmons from Arizona, where they're like, oh, they just came up and played linebacker for a little bit. So you just go spend like $50-60 million on that offense, and you basically have bought yourself a Super Bowl with the Carolina Panthers, just the way that they're set up, in my honest opinion. That defense is the best in the NFL. I do not care what anyone says. It's not the Bills. It's not what's the other big one out there that everyone keeps talking about for defenses? Bills,
Rams, Niners, San Francisco. Yeah,
Niners. Thank you. Like those are all great defenses, but when push comes to shove and they actually need it, Panthers defense is the number one in the NFL, hands down, in my opinion.
They're legit. And now you're starting to figure out why they didn't let go Brian Burns when they started trading everybody away, because they felt like if they can keep that, you keep one weapon on offense and more, and we see how big of a weapon he is, then you keep that one guy on defense to kind of build around. We already had pieces from a year ago in the draft and Jeremy Chin. Keep getting those guys, building that stuff, just add depth. Hey, and go for the line. And that's why I'm not 100% sold on a quarterback early. It's just because I almost want to do it kind of similar to Washington, where you can win with this guy. Let's build around him. Let's solidify that line. Let's get backs. Let's get wide receivers, a big guy, Mike Evans type, big, stocky wide receiver that can jump up and get it in the red zone.
Jalen Hyatt, maybe.
I mean, come on. Let's get one of these guys that can take a top off of defense and really open up this offense. And I mean, let's see what we can do, man. But yeah, no, I agree. That defense is just out of this world. I mean, first half of last year, we're number one ranked defense in the league. Yep. You know what I mean?
And you have like 2 second-round picks now, if I am not mistaken, correct? So say all of a sudden one of these top wide receivers, like the Smith
Jigba? Yeah.
Thank you. I can never say his name properly. But like if he, like, because in some instances he might start falling in some of these drafts, you could almost, and this would sound so like, it'd almost be like you can't allow the Panthers to do it. If Jalen Carter is still there at 7 and you put him to mix alongside with the rest of that and the culture then that becomes the Carolina Panthers, and then you just go we're just going to grab this wide receiver, and then we call them and be like, what do you want for Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, boom. Now all of a sudden I'm not watching those games. I don't want any part of it. No, I'm not watching the spanking of what the Carolina Panthers would be. And those jerseys too, those old school, like with the stripe on the side and stuff where they look so dominant. Yeah, no, I don't want no part of that.
That stadium, that's part of town. It's all starting to build up. Oh, it's beautiful.
Loud. Man. Oh, that stadium can get loud.
Let's go.
Boy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But let's go to Nicole's favorite segment. Well, actually, my favorite segment too. I can't lie about it.
All of our favorites.
Discoveries. Yay!
Oh.
Well, who wants to start it off? Okay, you go, Fu.
Good.
So, Sean Payton Manning, Sean Payton Manning, Sean Payton Manning, Sean Payton Manning. Okay, so I keep digging into it because this is now my favorite thing of all time here. Okay, there have been reports out there about the whole Sean Payton Manning. I'm just gonna call it like that. When I'm talking about Peyton Manning or Sean Payton, I'm just gonna say Sean Payton Manning when it comes to this thing. There's been a lot of different talks about the whole Sean Payton Manning, where he goes and this, that, and everything else. It does look like, and I said this to Alex at work, and he was kind of like, okay, okay. Sean Payton Manning may actually go to a situation where there is already a quarterback, but that right there could be the front. Because if he gets into a coaching position like that, like we're seeing with most of these other trades that have happened out there, Sean Payton has made trades when he had the New Orleans Saints to better the roster for the now. He doesn't do a full up, like pull away from everything. He does a retooling, but he is also understanding of what he needs to do in games. Bounty Gate. We all know that. Sorry to bring it up. But he and the Bucs, we all have done this. We all know that he is also taking players out of games to make sure he's insured himself a couple of better draft picks that go past, say, divisional rivals and stuff like that. So when looking at all the different places that Sean Payton wants to go, you look at the LA Chargers, obviously. You look at the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals is the one that makes the most sense to me. There is the most money. It is a warm environment. And not only that, Arizona was surprisingly one of the colleges that Arch Manning had in the final round of colleges. Wow. It was Arizona State. And it is one of those that went under the radar because it was something that he wanted and not necessarily what was good for him. It was in conversations. This was popped up on Twitter. Every time the whole Sean Payton Manning came up on Twitter and these whole little Colin Cowherd segments and stuff like that, you can just see the talk of where he went and where Sean Payton Manning wants to go to coach. And it all starts leading to what she was kind of saying, that if there is going to be some type of ownership of Arch Manning or someone guiding him into the NFL, the Mannings obviously are overcrowding or are overshadowing it and stuff like that by making sure he goes to the right places, by guiding certain decisions like Sean Payton and Peyton Manning also being on the Monday Night Football cast where they can just have these conversations without tampering. These are all things that happen
behind the scenes
all the time, behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
All of a sudden, we're off live and be like, "Hey, so, Sean, there, have you talked to Arch a little bit since he's been playing at Newman High?" He's like, I went down there, watched him a couple of times, and he's looking pretty good. He's like, I told you, man, you're gonna be the head coach of my nephew. You're gonna win. I tell you what, Sean. So what I've discovered is literally like we're going to clip that little segment of hers from like a week or two ago, where I'm just sitting here and I just go like. And because now, like I've gone down this rabbit hole. This is what NSD does, and I'm so far into this where I'm like, you can almost guarantee that Sean Payton and Peyton Manning are all going to have a helping hand in Arch Manning getting into the NFL, either ownership or head coaching. They're going to have the helping hand in.
I love it. Wow. Well, with that though, Nicole's, why don't you feed off that? What did you discover this week?
Well, I learned and I discovered some history that it wasn't all hugs and dandelions and giving flowers to one another. No, there was the great merger, my friends. The merger of 1966. So I didn't know this at all, but the merger was announced on the evening of June 8th, 1966. Under the merger agreement, the leagues maintain separate regular season schedules for the next 4 seasons. But in the 1970 season, they formed 2 conferences. So at first, the NFL ignored the AFL and its 8 teams, assuming the AFL would consist of players who could just not earn a contract in the NFL. And the fans of professional football would not waste their time watching them when they could be watching the NFL. The NFL also had the media advantage. So, thwarted by the NFL and desiring a team, Mr. Sir Lamar Hunt, owner of the Dallas Texans, later the Kansas City Chiefs, that really brought the AFL to fruition and helped create a league that was competitive with a long-established NFL. And that, sir friends, was the great merger.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Mm-hmm. I did not know.
Yes.
Well, the more you know. The more you know.
You know.
I love it. I love it. That's great. I actually didn't know that.
Well, if you don't know, now you know.
Now you know.
Yeah,
What
if we
were
took
you thinking,
AFL
Spencer?
stat. Oh, I was gonna say if we took AFL stats into consideration, the Detroit Lions would be the best team in the NFL. Just saying.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. Completely.
Go ahead, go ahead, Sean.
So I'm just gonna let's just keep on that line. You talked about one Lamar Hunt, who is the owner of the soon Chiefs. The Chiefs ended up winning Super Bowl 4, which is the last game prior to the official merger happening. Lamar Hunt is actually the one who coined the phrase Super Bowl.
Oh.
And basically he was on the committee of people. They were like, well, okay, well, if we're going to have this, merger, we want to have, before that, since it was the AFL, the NFL, they said, we want to have a game that is the champion of the AFL and the champion of the NFL, and they're playing together for that, for the superiority of both leagues or whatever. And he was saying, well, what is it going to be? It's a Super Bowl, like a Super Bowl. And at that time, they had an actual toy for kids that was called a Super Ball. And so I guess his son had it, and his son was playing with it. And he just it was just a play off that. He was like, the Super Bowl. And that's just what it was. So Lamar Hunt, who was actually, his team was also in Super Bowl 1. They lost 35-10 to the Packers. He was in 2 of the first 4 Super Bowls. He was part of the committee that came up with the name of the Super Bowl. And the more you know.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good feed. Mine is not as exciting. With the passing of the World Cup, I'm not sure if many people know, but Morocco actually made history this World Cup.
Ooh.
They were the first African team to ever go to the semifinals. So I think there's something to be said about that. That's huge. Soccer being the biggest sport by far in Africa, and for them to finally have that as an accomplishment, I think that speaks volumes for sure. We've seen teams come close like Cameroon and Ghana, and what else? I think Nigeria also in certain points.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Morocco actually they're going to stand out in history to being the first team to ever go to the semifinals. And until a team goes to the finals, they are going to have that title. So that is my discovery of the week. I think that is awesome. And kudos to them. Kudos to them.
Did you see the amount of people partying in Buenos Aires?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious, man! I was like, oh my god, the drone shot. So happy that there's some of these photographers out there that do the drone drops and all that kind of stuff. So happy that they exist, because that one shot where they kind of were on the bus stand or whatever, and it kind of goes around and comes back, and it just shows like 2 million people before everybody showed up. I'm like, that's insane.
It's unreal, man. By far the biggest sport in the world. Like, that tournament is the biggest. Like, there's nothing even close. Like,
they showed the Super Bowl comparatively to the FIFA World Cup, like the last game, and I was even surprised. I'm like, okay. Every 4 years, this makes sense. Okay, we should almost do the Super Bowl every 4 years.
No kidding. Relax though.
But like every country,
we'll call it the Amazing Bowl and have it every
yeah.
Spoilers. But I guess our last segment, the projections. So most of us did not have a good week, but next week, here's me hoping. The Falcons are going to be going against the Baltimore Ravens on New Year's Eve. I mean, on New Year's Eve. Sorry, Christmas Eve. My bad. But yeah, I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna say we take the L. I'm gonna be humble on that. I don't think our team is going to put it together. I'm gonna be quite honest. Actually, I don't want to be a pessimist, but I don't think we have many wins for the rest of the season. But I think, unfortunately, we see the holes that we have against the Falcons, against the Baltimore Ravens, and I think we take a good little butt whooping. I think it's going to be something like 30-14. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to keep that short and simple. So,
I like that.
Yeah.
As for me, you go. Oh, yeah, no, yeah. As for me, I think we're gonna take the L as well. I'm gonna be honest. The Lions are playing out of their mind. Shout out to Alex, and they're playing for potentially their first playoff berth in a while. So yeah, we're just hitting them at the wrong time. And it's not that we don't have like the heart and to get it, but it's just like they have firepower. They absolutely have firepower. So their offense versus our defense will be the X factor. If we can get a couple turnovers, maybe, but I got them winning. I honestly got them winning 31-23.
Fair? Closer game? Okay. Well, Miss Nicole?
Okie dokie. Well, I've been looking very closely at the last couple of weeks here, and we are going against the Browns. We are going to be playing at the AFC North, at the Browns. They are 6-8, but however, the Falcons beat them 20-23, and then the Bucks lost to them 17-23. So it's very hard to say, but we did win against the Falcons twice, and then we lost both times against the Bucks. So I think we can take on Huntley and Dobbins because we're magical. I like it. I think we will win. It'll be 14-32 for us. Go Saints.
Okay.
Well, is Deshaun Watson still playing? Like you guys are playing against Deshaun Watson, are you not?
Yep.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. For me, it's just about the Huntley.
Fair. Okay, I like it. Close it off, Foobs.
I play on Christmas Day, and I'm gonna be drunk while I watch Chris's team lose. I do think the Bucks are gonna win this one. I would have called this a lot closer if Kyler was here. I would have probably taken the Cardinals to win this one if Kyler was there, just because they would have been pushing for the playoffs just as much as we are. But yeah, no, I think we'll get the win, and it'll give us a false narrative of hope that we're still in this. We could beat the Falcons, and then we could beat the Panthers, and then the Falcons, and then we're in. Like, yeah, or we could lose to both, and then all of a sudden it's So I think we got this. I do think we got this, and I got the final score not being over 23 points since we can't score anything. I'll go like 21-16.
I like it.
Yeah, I like that.
Fair enough. I guess we'll have to see what happens next week, but I like it. We kept it close to an hour too. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. So, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to the Let's Talk Football NFC South Takeover. I guess we'll see if we're way off or if we're bang on. So, stay tuned. Everybody have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate.
Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy everything.
All of them.
Everything.
Yeah. And I hope everybody gets a lot of family time, and we will see you next week. But bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace.